Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Wednesday means it's Wildcard Wednesday here in Instant Deck Tech land, and today's deck is certainly wild. This is Mardu Pact, yes, Demonic Pact for Modern, coming to us by Kobayashi Yashuisha, who took it to an undefeated finish in the infamous small Japanese tournament, but big congrats to Kobayashi on a super sweet synergistic deck. A quick reminder before we break down Mardu Pact for Modern. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Mardu Pact, of course, named after Demonic Pact. We saw this have fringe success in Standard. It's a really powerful effect, but with a potentially big downside. So Demonic Pact, 4 mana, you get 4 choices, and you have to choose a different one each turn, and you gotta choose one. There's no saying no to the Demonic Pact. So you can deal 4 damage to something and gain 4 life. You can make an opponent discard 2, you can draw 2, or you can lose the game. So basically, you get 3 good options, and then by the time the 4th option hits, you're going to lose the game. So we got to have a plan for dealing with our Demonic Pact. We can't just play Demonic Pact and hope to kill our opponent before our time runs out and we have to pay the demonic price. So how are we dealing with our Demonic Pacts? Well, the big one is Nihiri the Harbinger. Super sweet synergy here. -2, exiles an enchantment, so we can use it to get rid of our own Demonic Pact. Plus, Nihiri is just a good card. We can use it as a finisher. We do have one Emrakul in the deck that we'll see later, so if we get to ultimate, we can kill our opponent that way. We can loot with it to get rid of our bad stuff, kind of improve our draws, and we can even kill our opponent's stuff if we don't need to be killing our own packs. But beyond the Nihiri, one of the sweetest ways to deal with Demonic Pact is Flicker Wisp, because Flicker Wisp doesn't kill our Demonic Pact. It just resets it. It flickers it, it comes back in. We have all of our choices again, so we can potentially deal some damage, draw some cards, attack our opponent's hand, Flicker Wisp, blink the pack. When it comes back in, we get to choose all those options again because the game sees it as a new object, so we're not stuck choosing lose the game. Finally, just a one-up, but we can loot into it with our Nihiri, potentially. We do have a single harmless offering, so when the clock is about to run out, we can give the Demonic Pact to our opponent and make them choose the lose the game option instead of us choosing it. Then, since making sure we have a way to deal with our Demonic Pact is so important, we have some ways to find what we need to either find our pact to begin with or find answers to it. So Dark Petition just directly tutors out our pact or tutors out our Nihiri or Flicker Wisp, something to make sure we don't die to pact. And then Smuggler's Copter kind of does the same thing in its own weird way of letting us loot through our deck to find what we need to not die to our pact. Plus, it's a really reasonable threat on its own. I've been super impressed with Smuggler's Copter in Modern. The rest of the deck, we have some interesting creatures. Gifted Aetherborn helps clog up the ground in the early game, great against aggressive decks, and even okay against bigger mid-range decks. It can take down a Tarmogoyf or a Tasigur or a Death Shadow thanks to having Death Touch. Blade Splicer gives us some additional blink and flicker value, so if we don't have a pact to flicker with our Flicker Wisp, we can make more Golem tokens with our Blade Splicer. Restoration Angel can blink our Blade Splicer, can also do some sweet tricks where we blink our Flicker Wisp and then use the Flicker Wisp to get rid of our Demonic Pact. So it's not a answer to pact in and of itself, but if we have a Flicker Wisp on the battlefield, our Restoration Angel works like another pact answer. And then Emrakul, never really going to cast it, but it's our finisher along with our Nihiri, so plus a couple times, ultimate, clog up the ground with our creatures to keep our loyalty on Nihiri high, and then we just Emrakul, annihilate our opponent, and most likely just win the game on the spot. We also have Lingering Souls, which does a good job of just clogging things up for our Nihiri, making sure our life total and loyalty on Nihiri stays high. Also works well with our discard. We can discard it to our Smuggler's Copter, our Nihiri, flash it back, so it gives us some free discard value as well. As far as the rest of the deck, we have some discard, Inquisitions and Thoughtseize, attack our opponent's hand. Also make sure that our opponent doesn't have an answer to our answer for our own pack. If our opponent has a negate or something, something, and our plan is to Nahiri our pact the turn before we die, we want to make sure that doesn't happen, because even with all of our pact answers, there still is risk that our opponent can disrupt us somehow and make us lose to our own pact. And then for removal, Fatal Pushes, Path to Exiles, and a couple of Dreadbores, which might look weird, but it gives us a nice main deck hedge to Chandras and Lilianas and Jaces, and the Planeswalkers that pop up in Modern from now and then. As far as the mana base, we get some fetch lands, some basic lands to fetch up, along with a ton of shock lands also to fetch up. Shambling Vents gives us some lifelink, another attacker, finisher, Graven Karen's Concealed Courtyard as additional duels, and just a single Ghost Quarter, a bit of a hedge against creature lands and Tron lands. In the sideboard, we get lots of graveyard hate. Surgical Extraction gets rid of a specific card forever. Also sweet with Ghost Quarter to mess with Tron. Rest in Peace nukes the graveyard forever. Rakdos Charm gives us some weird value. It's basically a graveyard hate spell that can also be an artifact disruption spell. So it's a graveyard hate spell that's also good against Affinity, for example. So a nice flexible sideboard slot there. Fulminator Mage, mostly for Tron. Can be for creature lands or control decks, but primarily a Tron hate card. Slaughter Games for combo, get rid of all the Scape Shifts or Primeval Titans or Ad Nauseums. Damnation, Collective Brutality, give us some more removal. Collective Brutality, of course, also works like a duress. Wear Tear for artifacts and enchantments, and Celestial Purge to get rid of red and black permanents. Good against Death Shadows, Lilianas, things like that. And that is Mardu Pact for Modern. And that's our instant deck tech for today, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.